Oh my fucking god.
We gonna do this every week?
You know what? It might work just because it's so meme.
Oh my god.
David is dead already.
Oh, frick me.
Oh, frick. Alright. I have permission from my girl to be naughty.
In terms of apes jacking off, I am the expert.
About it. We're gonna... Yo, we're about to get lit. Alright. Hey, beautiful motherfucking people. Welcome to episode 5 of the Unboxing Life podcast. I'm Trevor. I'll be one of the hosts of this evening. I've conceded to being the throne lord, and I'm joined by my two beautiful men. What are their names? I forgot already.
All right, my name is David.
My name's Cameron.
Hey, and we are the Unboxing Life. You know what?
Podcast.
Yes. No, I gave you the alley-oop. So we have a very special
On purpose.
Yes, we have a very special episode for you guys. We're gonna get sloshed on the mics with some mics hard. So we're gonna be drinking tonight.
Yeah.
I've got.
We've been drinking tonight. We're going to be continuing drinking tonight.
We
so
with
Cam,
a couple drinks.
Yeah, so Cam's a little bit ahead of us, I think.
I am
David has
not.
no tolerance.
Not in terms of tolerance. I think David
has no.
David is the equivalent of me at like
David's ahead
6
of us.
drinks right now.
I need to set the record straight. I have not drank since New Year's Eve of last year or this year, whatever you want to call it. So it's been 8.5 months.
It's currently late August, yeah.
It might as well be my first time drinking, yeah. Currently late August.
Yeah.
His liver has been just cruising the high seas, just hanging out, all sun and shiny days, and we're about to fuck it up.
Just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
And I have a shot of warm Jack Daniels honey waiting for me right now.
That sounds not great.
All right,
Sounds not great.
We're getting off track. All right, so we're gonna be
I think
drinking
this is
tonight.
the track.
So I wanted to tell the audience what we're drinking tonight. So I'm currently drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade, and it's strawberry flavored. And we're going to be doing a shot every 15 minutes or so, and I'm doing rum chata.
Nice.
And Cam's gonna be sipping on scotch, and he's gonna be quote unquote shooting White Claws by shotgunning them. And David, what are you listening to? What are you drinking this evening?
I've had one Angry Orchard, Angry Orchard hard ale or whatever, hard cider, yeah. And I'm finishing off this bottle of warm Jack Daniels honey, and then I'm gonna be having some Jameson Irish whiskey.
So he just basically read off an ad. So if any of y'all hear this and want your liquors on the Unboxing Life podcast, contact David Williams, and he'll be gladly to advertise your shit.
We'll be happy for a liquor sponsor for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So
we're gonna be a bit of a shot here.
So that's all the asterisks we need to get out of the way. We're gonna be. Did I say we're drinking shots every 15 minutes or so?
Yes, you did.
All right. So I just poured a shot of my rum chata. So we are going to cheers to the cam. Let's cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, baby.
We're all on FaceTime right
boys.
now. So
love y'all. Yeah, we're on.
Can
love
see
y'all.
Gorgeous faces.
Let's fucking go. Let's go.
Homie, you're fucking killing me.
Yo.
Jesus Christ.
Bro, not breaking down mid-chug there as you just did that was one of the harder things I've ever done.
That is impressive as frick.
I had about a gallon of liquid in my mouth, and I was just like watching David fucking die on the other side of the camera, and I was just like, I gotta hold it together. I gotta hold it together for the boys.
Okay, so 11:02, we're gonna take another shot.
Some extreme spice already layering itself in. It is warm Jack Daniels, though. I will give you that. You are shooting. I don't know why that's not in the fridge, but
the freezer is where it should be.
I mean, the freezer
right.
for sure, but at least the fridge.
I'd taken it out. It took us a while to set up here. So
oh, and there's so little inside of it. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, it's empty now, so I gotta get more Jameson when we're ready. Actually, I don't have any alcohol right now. All right, mark this point. Why? Okay, all right.
Because he's gonna go get stuff.
I'll be right back in a second.
All right, I marked him. Dude, David's amazing.
Dude, David's fucked.
David's
life
David
is
so
ending
great.
tonight.
I don't think you understand how much I love that man.
I don't. Not yet.
I absolutely adore David. When you meet him, you'll understand why. He's so fucking great.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. But I am a big believer in, like, I can imagine things, but I can't fully understand them until they're in front of me.
Facts. We can try to keep this podcast going while he's fucking gone.
And say what?
So tell me how big your dick is.
Man, I'm 7 inches of hard. For those of you who are interested in gaming and humor content, please go check out my stream. I just uploaded my first stream highlights YouTube video.
I'll drink to that.
I would expect you to, honestly. But yeah, it's definitely worth celebrating. I've been sitting on my fucking thumbs, not editing these clips I had together into a coherent video that was, quality entertainment. And so I finally did it, and hopefully more to follow very soon, because I do have kind of a litany of clips.
So I have no idea where we left off, but I want to... Let's start with our beautiful tradition. I think, Cam, you're not reading a depressing fact, right? So I think...
I hate that I've done it, oh man, they catch my eye more, I guess, is really what it is, and that I feel like it's more interesting when there's like
when you see 700 when you see 700 dead by Molasses River, it's hard to turn away from that.
Jesus.
Well, yeah. Let's not overblow the Boston Massacre. Let's give accurate numbers here.
Okay, so I'm gonna let David do his tradition this week. So he's gonna give us a nice little song of the week. DJ Dave Vision, what do you got for us, baby?
I like that. Thank you. My song of the week is Harlem by the soul legend Bill Withers. Now, I like to try to provide a variety of genres and maybe do what I can. It's all stuff I like and I would listen to myself and have listened to. So that's a disclaimer real quick, but. This is from 1971.
I was going to ask for a year. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Any man named Bill Withers is definitely old as shit.
Bill Withers is a legend, and he just passed away recently.
All right. Well, cut the fucking video.
I knew that was coming. You spoke that shit into existence. That man would still be alive if you hadn't said that. So honestly,
rest in paradise.
That's how that works.
Honestly, though. Rest in paradise, man. That sucks to hear.
For sure.
Bill Withers made "Lean on Me" and "Ain't No Sunshine."
Oh shit!
Oh wow.
He's a literal god and legend in the genre. It's ridiculous. So
okay,
this song is definitely less well known than those, but it's
Say the title again.
Yeah,
Harlem.
Harlem.
Yeah, sorry,
Gotcha.
Harlem.
It's sort of exploring It's not very long, so it sounds weird to say the word exploring, but it's talking about this, how the week goes in the city of Harlem or whatever, and he's talking about partying, but then when he's at home, he doesn't feel like waking up, or he doesn't care if he dies. There's a lot of commentary on poverty and stuff, and then he goes freaking hard as frick when he talks about certain preachers taking advantage of their congregation. He's like, don't give no money to that lying, cheating man.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Dang, in 1971, and then he repeats it later on in the song, and it's the instrumental is just going hard, and it switches up a bunch. So
I can dig it.
Yeah, I would really recommend it to both you guys and everyone out there. Maybe the young viewers haven't heard it, or young listeners haven't heard it, but it's
if you're listening on YouTube, shout out to you. You're a viewer and a listener.
exactly. Viewing our logo on
your
YouTube,
OP as fuck.
It's quality, yeah.
That's dope.
Interesting stuff in there.
That's dope. Any sort of slice of life, how you would say, in music, and a documentary of especially older times, especially times that we didn't even live, is just nice to it's like a time capsule when you go back and you're wow, maybe this shit isn't nearly as changed as it should have been, how we were talking about last week with the Kendrick album. Came out 5 years ago and it's more potent than ever. So just certain shit is timeless. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean that kind of stuff might be timeless for the wrong reasons, right?
Yeah,
unfortunately,
where like it shouldn't be, but it is, and it's still in that same lane though. Its timelessness does kind of still hold up because it's like this is still, unfortunately, it's the same message and the same issue. Things have gotten better to a degree for a lot of people, but for a lot of people, it's still not good. But this message is still here for you to receive and take
change your ideas,
reinforcement from, take encouragement from. You know, like these messages still exist and they're still there, and you can. It's incredibly. You said he's passed now, but he can still bring. I mean, you said what was his other songs?
Lean on Me,
Sunshine, Lean on Me, yeah.
Sunshine, yeah. So like the kind of effects an artist like that can have on the world after passing, and what are we 50 years after that coming? The one you
almost
cited, it's 49 years. So
49.
Putting art in the world that has that sort of effect decades later is something that's always amazing to me.
I mean, what did M say on the Eminem show? Let us live through the words that you hear in our songs, you know, shit like that. Spirits live on, yeah, through the lyrics that you hear in our songs. It's like, especially even like with us making this podcast, you could be listening 100 years from now. We're immortal in that sense. Like you put yourself out in the world like that, someone will be able to go back, listen to you, archive you, and say, hey, this is what happens in this time, like 100 years ago. This is what they were talking about. This is what kind of subjects they were facing.
Yeah.
You could do the same with music. Like music is even more powerful in that sense.
The internet has given us all a weird ephemeral sense of immortality.
Yeah.
Where it'll always be here. Like you talk about that to kids about not posting shit they'll regret online and stuff. Is like the internet never dies. Like everything lives on the internet forever. Like there is infinite space for all intents and purposes.
The cloud is always there.
Like it's always like if you put something on the internet, it doesn't go away, and that can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. Like you teach kids about like treating it with respect, or it can be a good thing in the case of music and podcasts and art and all these sorts of mediums that can inspire people for decades or centuries even, because who knows where we go from here. I mean, I've heard someone say that we're in the golden age of podcasts right now, right? Like where the availability of like just us three dickheads running up a podcast just because we feel like it, and we all have like minimal equipment and all that stuff. We can do it because of the internet and because of the availability of technology right now, and you know it's really cool.
Great words. The cool thing about, like, not the cool thing. I kind of think about this a lot, especially when I tell people that I have a podcast, and like the first thing they say is like, "Oh, there's so many podcasts out there. You're like, you face so much competition." I'm like, sure. I mean, if you're consistent enough, you're going to weed out those podcasts that are just there filling space.
Yeah.
Like there's so many podcasts that start and don't maintain that schedule, don't maintain the grind, and they just fizzle out. The dope shit is gonna stay. And that's like a reoccurring theme with like, say, like the Joe Budden podcast. They bring that topic up all the time. Like there's a million podcasts that you could listen to, but they're not all going to make it. They're not all going to have the same drive. So,
and not everyone wants to do it for a long time. And that's all
yeah.
Right, but...
And we're here to stay. So fucking get ready for us, baby.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, we're going to pump out the best content as possible and everything because we want to do that for ourselves. We could stream to 30 listeners for the next 2 years and like
I'd be completely fine with
that. just still be having a good time with the boys, just doing drunk casts like this one and fucking talking shit about music and whatever and recording it for our own purposes, and we try to make it entertaining for other people to listen to as well, people similar to us and all that good stuff. And whether that works out or it doesn't is gonna happen. But we're going to put the fucking work in. Like, we're definitely going to try to put the work in and make this as entertaining for ourselves and the audience as possible. And, you know, I think there's fucking 7, almost 8 billion people on the planet. The niche markets exist for everything. The people that are like that are like us and want to hang out with us and maybe kick back a few brews right now, like us, my boys holding up the drinks to the mic.
Let's do. I was getting ready to say like
kick back a few brews, hang out with the boys, just listen to us shoot our shit and talk about whatever the fuck we're gonna talk about. We'll find our audience. We're gonna keep on putting that work in.
Yeah, we will find you.
Yeah. Like
and we will be in your ear.
We will find you.
We will find you.
I'm not as aggressive about it as Trevor is. I just know that if they build it, if you build it, they will come, kind of a thing, right? Where.
And I would drink to that message, sir.
That's what you were doing. I see you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna keep spitting messages and just put David into an early grave here.
We're waving our alcoholic dicks in the face cam right now. So
yeah,
you guys can't see
that. Doesn't make any sense. It's beverages.
We're having some fun. We're way off topic. So David, that was a great song.
This is the topic.
Cameron,
thank you.
Cameron, hit us with that fucking fun fact,
wanted
baby.
to. This won't get too off topic, because it is the topic that we haven't moved from. David, good rec last week.
What?
You recommended the country song?
Oh!
Yeah.
Get fucked, kid. Get fucked.
So I gave my bit about country and everything. But I said I'd give it a listen because I trust you guys, obviously. So yeah, gang shit, making gang signs, unoffensive gang signs in the camera.
We lit. Not gang signs, we just lit.
Not literal gang signs. Please don't come after us. I'm scared.
I only know how to do the Tupac West Side shit. So
yeah, so just kill him and not me and David. So yeah, I listened to it and it reminded me massively of a group I used to listen to with my dad actually, called Little Feat, and they would do this sort of like rock country kind of vibe, and it reminded me. I want you to listen to. I'll recommend it to you after if you can't remember or whatever. But we're not blacking out. But just since this is so early on, and since I'm recommending this as kind of an offhand, you might forget. But it reminded, that song you recommended me with the horns and everything reminded me a lot of a song by Little Feat on this album that I used to listen to with my dad a lot called Dixie Chicken. And I won't spoil because it's a good story. So you should listen to it. The group Little Feat has as a constant part of their band, they're like drums, guitar, bass, and horns. Like they have a whole fucking horn section, and they call them the Tower Power Horns, and they're fucking dope. And my dad told me stories about going to see them in concert and everything, and I fucking love them. So, yeah. So we used to listen to that album all the time, and it gave me, like, as soon as the horns came in, I immediately, thought of that song. And I actually listened to it right after, and I was like, damn, this is the vibe. This is what I fuck with. So, yeah, good rec last week. Took me back to a nostalgic place. So that's what this man can do for you. That's what this man David can do for you. He can get you into all sorts of feels about your past, about your future. So was that rec one more time? It was Harlem?
Oh, the one now is Harlem by Bill Withers, yes.
Okay, and the one you recommended last week was what?
Keep Between the Lines by Sturgill Simpson.
Sturgill Simpson, okay.
That's exactly what I hope to try to do with this. I'm so glad you had that reaction. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great just for me, and we have, a face-to-face interaction. I can't, So,
dang.
The third person is going to be very interesting to see as well. So, yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. Well.
So, am I going next?
The music was good. Yeah, you can hit us with your...
Okay.
Hit us with your fucking Snapple fact of the day, you pussy.
So Snapple fact... Okay, well, that was aggressive, and I'm feeling attacked right now. I came out here to have a good time, and honestly, I'm feeling so attacked.
A little aggressive.
So, hardcore fans of the show will recognize our title as a sort of a reference or an homage of sorts. But this fact is about the show Friends, which is probably, you could say Cheers maybe, but probably the most popular sitcom of all time.
Oh, Cheers ain't got a fucking candle to Friends. Are you kidding me?
Seinfeld.
Well, it depends on who you ask. Seinfeld too. No, Seinfeld should be thrown in there.
We're not gonna have hot takes 24/7 right here. We're gonna have Friends in top 10. There's Seinfeld, there's Friends, there's Big Bang Theory.
In terms of
huge shows.
In terms of goodness, you could debate it, but in terms of bigness, Friends is at least top 3.
Yeah.
Audience, he said bigness.
Am I wrong? What?
Bigness.
Right.
Like being big.
Go ahead.
Bigness.
Dickheads.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to trim this down. The cast of Friends each made $1 million per episode in the final 2 seasons, and now make $20 million per year per cast member for reruns. The show still generates about $1 billion per year for Warner Brothers Studios. All thanks to David Schwimmer encouraging the cast to negotiate as a team. So the little background there is that they were making, like, each cast member was making different amounts in the early seasons based on their screen time and lines
their
and whatever.
Notoriety.
And he got the 6 of them together and was like, if we work together, we'll make way more fucking money. And I assume everyone else was like, yeah, fucking probably. And so they all just did it. So, but to break that down, the first commenter on this says, $54,795 per day for acting you did 20 years ago. It's got to feel nice. It's got to feel pretty nice. So that breaks down to they make $38 a minute for work that they did 15, 20 years ago.
That's some Michael Jordan number shit. Like
Yeah.
the whole
yeah.
Oh, it's
them them analyzing his revenue like per year. That's some Michael Jordan's numbers. I remember seeing that as like a 12-year-old in 5th grade being like, hey, making Michael Jordan makes like $67,000 a year. What are you doing with your life? And I'm sitting here at 12 like, fam, I don't even masturbate. Like, what do you want me to do?
I think MJ makes more than $67K a year, but
I
think he makes a bit more than that.
I said it wrong.
Yeah, he makes like at least like I don't even want to put a number on it. I'm gonna embarrass myself more than you just have.
Several million a year.
But so someone broke it down to income per second in the next comment, and the one after that goes, reading this makes me realize it hasn't been my day, my week, my month, or even my year.
And might I say, I would like to add this comment. My boy David is swimming in that money.
Hey, bars! Yo! No way! Oh my lord!
White boys can't rap who?
Right boys can't rap who? Check out Dave Vision on SoundCloud if you want to just hear him like put his bars into musical form.
Jesus.
Goddamn.
Okay.
Holy shit.
This is okay. So
I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
We're gonna move on to Trevor's little fun poem quote thing, and
we are taking our sweet ass time with this tradition. It's fine though.
It's gonna be a long ass fucking episode. Strap in, boys and girls.
So
let's go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read this quote and then we're gonna take another shot. We're about 6 minutes. Now we're 7 minutes late on our second shot, so we're gonna do it. So I found this beautiful quote for this evening, and it's under glasswithatwist.com. 58 funny drinking quotes, and it's the first fucking one, and it's so perfect. I feel sorry for people who don't drink. When they wake up in the morning, that's as good as they're ever going to feel all day. Frank Sinatra.
Damn.
Fuck yeah, I've heard that before. That's
my man
that's
Frank
a bar.
was snorting coke off of a coke or
Off of coke.
I mean, honestly, he probably was. Honestly, Frank Sinatra was probably doing coke lines off of coke lines.
No, so if we think
about
it, I was gonna bounce off of Cam's whole
coke off of strippers'
coke
titties.
Off strippers, yeah. So yeah, that was like.
Yo, David's not gonna last.
All right.
Cam, you're still paused on the face cam.
I know. I went to get another drink, so.
That is such a baller freaking quote. It's unbelievable.
Facts.
And that's
when you wake up in the morning, that's the best you're gonna feel all day.
Let me say this: more power to you if you don't drink. That's totally fine. But that I'm just saying, for us, that's a baller quote, and that's what's up.
Right. That's what's up. No, I'm completely down for the whole straight edge thing. You know, just staying sober. You think clearly. You don't have to have any liver problems. You're completely clear mentally.
Yeah, I mean, alcohol definitely causes more problems beyond the liver, for sure. So
for sure.
Yeah. Above all the jokes, literally above all of it, we encourage everyone to. You can have as much fun as you want and literally drink responsibly. Like it's totally within the realm of drinking. Like, just do it responsibly. Make sure you have a ride home. Don't drive, of course.
Yeah, just
man. Like,
please be safe. That's all we ask for. Like, just take care of yourself. Make sure you're not getting stabbed in the club.
On that note, we're gonna take another shot. So it's time for us. All right. I'm getting Jameson Irish whiskey now. To I guess
hold that up to the camera. Let me see that beautiful boy.
David back with the ads.
This is connecting to me to my roots, I guess, a little bit. I have mainly Irish.
Hey,
the Irishman.
But we love drinks from everywhere. And
all right. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yee! Woo, baby! I feel like a new man. Oh my freaking god! I haven't drank in 8 months. Oh my god, bro.
That is a quarter second after he took that shot, ladies and gentlemen. I just finished chugging through another fit of laughs. Through yet another fucking fit of laughs. Because this man took a shot and a quarter second later he was like, I don't even know what I'm fucking saying. I am the cat's pajamas. I am the
motherfucker.
I am coming to fuck your wife. I will absolutely home wreck you.
No,
I am
Cameron,
going
shut the fuck up,
to
Cameron.
your children are now my children. You gotta get further
done.
away from your mic if you want to yell at me like that.
Alright. So, on the docket, I would like to discuss Harry Potter.
Oh, wait, we're doing the podcast now?
Of course we're doing the podcast.
Oh, shit, I forgot almost.
My man Trevor has been reading the Harry Potter books first time since he was a child, right? And he doesn't remember anything.
Yep, so I first read these beautiful books when I was 12. This is back when I was in 5th grade. And I don't know what the hell happened in my memory, but I don't remember jack shit from them other than like the super big plot points. And even then, I don't remember anything about Order, or Half-Blood, or like Deathly Hallows. And I read them all, so it was almost like I had a memory charm used against me. I'm sorry. Nice. I'm really sorry for that.
Yeah, thanks for the apology. I wasn't gonna forgive you with that one.
Yeah. So I'm currently at like page 235 of the Goblet of Fire, and I fucking adore them so far. They're absolutely fantastic books. If you haven't read them, what are you doing? Get the fuck on them now.
Wait, did you say you're halfway through Goblet?
Like 235. There's like 800 and something pages in Goblet. So.
Well, okay. So
see, like,
I guess
it is the longest. It is the longest book in the series.
I think 4 and 6 are longest book, but they get noticeably longer past 2.
Yeah, so 1, 2, and 3 are all relatively the same length. Azkaban, I think, is like 434 pages, and then
one
Goblet
is only
reaches
like 200
like
something. So
yeah, the first one's like 306. The fifth one is the fifth one is almost as long as Goblet, but Goblet is the longest. But we're getting off track. So I'm currently deep in Goblet, and what I've been doing with my girlfriend is I'll read the book, and then I'll watch the movie of the book I just read. And she owns all of them, so it's pretty accessible for me to do so. And I love the books. The movies are a little lacking for me.
Hey, fuck you!
So Cam's pretty far from his mic, so if you didn't hear that, he said, "Hey, fuck you," because he can't take the fact.
I got far away for that line. I hoped it would come through as heckling, which is what it was meant to be.
Yeah. So we don't take peanut gallery shit. We're gonna keep going.
Man, freak the peanut gallery. Go ahead, Trevor.
Yeah. So I like
David.
the movies. I like the movies a lot. Don't get me wrong. They take those books that are absolutely classic and they actually provide a visual for them. And it's stunning to see like the actual atmosphere and the universe that they created for these books. Granted, Rowling, however you pronounce her last name, did a lot with like the actual world building and basically laid out the foundations for the movies, but the movies had to actually translate them into the screen. So I completely give them respect in that aspect. Like Hogwarts today, as we know it, wouldn't be that without the movies. It would just be a figment of our imagination.
Yeah, I mean, I read a fun fact up the top of the podcast every week now. You could read fun facts about the filming of Harry Potter for weeks on end. Like the castle they use, the settings, like everything, and
it's awesome.
The whole world. So yeah.
Let me get to what I do like, and that's one of them is the whole world building. I love the cast. The cast is fucking perfect. It's like it's next level perfect. Like everything that you would think. Yeah, it's like everything that you think when you read those books, you see it on the screen and you're like, "Oh my god, he's Snape." Alan Rickman was fucking made.
He was fucking paradise, yeah. Alan Rickman.
Yeah. I have a whole nother thing about that. I just learned that he's dead. I didn't know he was dead. I learned that like a few days ago. I was just going on Instagram, and this was like the day that I was going to Disney a couple of days ago, and I was on Instagram at like 8 a.m, and my girlfriend sent me a meme, and I looked at it, and then I just did the Google searches like you normally would about your favorite actors, and he's fucking dead. He's been dead for almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, man.
Ago. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Alan Rickman.
Great. Yeah.
You were fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, the cast is amazing. Harry's great. Hermione's so cute. She's so adorable. I just like a smile rips on my face every time I see her on the screen. She's so cute. The Dumbledore that comes through Azkaban through the other movies is so superior to the other Dumbledore. Rest in peace. I don't know the actor's name, but rest in peace to him. But the newer Dumbledore, dude, he kills that shit, man.
The newer Dumbledore is more movie.
Yeah, so
he's far more attuned to the movie scene, and Dumbledore does have way more of an influence on the movies or the overall plot, like past number 2.
Yeah.
Past 2 and 3. So
I think his name is Rex Harrison. He did a great job in the early ones, filling that role for sure. But
yep.
You need to move closer, David.
He was great, but he was very passive. Like it's almost like he spoke the words in a very passive way. He had a very minor role in the movies. It was kind of like that weird grandfather that you just never talked to and you never knew how to talk to, so he was just there.
I mean, I would argue that that's kind of what the headmaster is as a first year. But like, I mean, he was just
sure.
I think I haven't read enough of 1 and 2 recently to really put up a solid fight here, but I've read enough of 1, and I read like most of the first. There's like a solid 20 pages that's just discourse between McGonagall and Dumbledore in the early parts of book 1, and the way that Dumbledore speaks is kind of the way that he's acted in that first movie. I mean, that scene doesn't exist in the movie. Dumbledore kind of exists on Privet Drive for like all of 5 seconds in the movie. But I think he was fine. I think he was perfectly fine for the role for what it was in the first couple of movies.
He was just way too passive for me because he's such a lovable character that it doesn't come off in the movies as being that entertaining.
Okay.
Like when you see him so passive.
I'll leave it at that. I can take that as perfectly fair.
David, what were you saying?
And by the way, his name is Richard Harris. I said his name wrong because I'm drunk like an idiot. Rest in peace. He's a great actor. He had a long career and he's awesome. But yeah, it goes back to what you're saying. The casting is really perfect, and they really like. When I went back to the books after watching the movie, it was weird because it was like in my childhood, and I got sort of confused about which was which. And like going back to the books, it was like, oh, why is Harry not Daniel? Why doesn't he look like Daniel Radcliffe in the pictures over the chapters or whatever, right? Like,
yeah, I mean that's the kind of innocence of youth, right? Where you're like, you don't understand the discrepancy between the movie and the book and everything, and you're like, oh, they should look exactly alike because they were planned together, but obviously that's not how it actually works.
But they weren't, because the books were planned in 1995, so
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so okay, so going back to the movies, the cast is great, like we said. That's about where it stops for me in terms of positives. One of the huge things about what I don't like, and I'll give them credit for being child actors.
Yeah, so I'll tear it apart and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
How about you shut the fuck up?
I can never do that. You've asked me to drink alcohol. You know what you're getting yourself into.
Axe alcohol.
Axe alcohol.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean
the new body
pronunciation,
spray.
pronunciation and vocabulary are down the drain here, folks. We're just
the new
alcohol for yeah. All right, go ahead.
All right, we are losing listeners as we talk. Anyways,
I thought that was the point.
So one of the negatives, one of the very many negatives of these movies for me, is the dialogue delivery. It's very flat. If you go back to, I don't know how when the last time you guys have seen this movies, the dialogue is very flat. Harry himself is very unenthusiastic with his deliveries of his lines. They're very like there was a line in Chamber of Secrets where Rocio and I were laughing our asses off watching it, and it's when they first find that the Chamber of Secrets has been opened, and it's like sprayed on the walls in blood, and they come across it in the halls, and Hermione's just like, "Oh, it's written in blood." Like literally, that's exactly how she says it. Like she reads it word for word from the wall, and then she's like, "Oh, it's written in blood." I'm like, "Wow, thank you."
Yeah, I get it. I would say overall.
Were you finished, Trevor?
Oh, sorry.
Finish what?
With your point. It sounded like you had more to say.
Yeah,
No, I mean that's just like kind of my biggest gripe with the movies is the delivery. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's very flat. It's almost like soda that's been in the fridge for 4 weeks.
It can sort of remind me of the Star Wars prequels a little bit, but not touching on that. It's like
that's a good parallel.
Yeah, I hope so. I think the one thing the movies do a good job at, probably for me, is undercasting. Is like they do a good job at shifting the tones. Like the first at least two are full of a lot of whimsy and like childhood wonderment, and then it gets really serious towards the end. And that's kind of how the books are, and I think they do a good job with that. But I remember always preferring the books, and everyone I knew sort of who read the books preferred them, just because that world building is super important, and they hit on these little plot details that make all the motivations really like, I don't know, cogent if that's a good word for everybody, or like
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, like understandable. Like you can understand people's motivations, and it all makes sense, I think, in the books. And the movies sort of left it a little. They
kind of neuter a lot of plot elements that are in the books, just because, like you were saying, we were texting about these movies, and you had brought up the point that it gets a little hard to adapt these movies when they're so fucking long and they're so intricate. But they rip so many like crucial plot details, and it doesn't come off well on screen. They can't, like a lot of the books, at least for the first 2 or 3, they rely heavily on Harry and the gang kind of sneaking around the castle and evading teachers when they're trying to do shit that isn't necessarily legal for students. You can't really translate that well into a movie. It kind of just goes without saying that, hey, we can't just have them walking around for 15 scenes, you know, trying to evade them and using the Marauders map and shit like that. Which is, I completely understand that, but they also neuter different plot details, like with the ghosts. Peeves doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Peeves is huge in the books, and he's nowhere to be found in the movies.
Yeah, that does bother me.
Why?
It's literally just for simplicity.
It's ridiculous.
It's literally just because through his involvement, things only become more complicated, and so they just cut him out entirely. Even though he's extremely good and valuable character, they just removed him for simplicity's sake, which is kind of a bother, but also it makes sense for the purpose of the movies. So I can't hate them for it. I can be bothered by them, but I can't hate them for it. I mean, Harry Potter movies do within themselves a fair amount of comic relief. Like they don't take themselves very seriously. Until you get to the literal like life and death, like we're destroying Horcruxes kind of a thing. Like they don't take themselves mega serious. I mean, like episode like chapter 4, like Harry's fighting a dragon, like that's super serious. But like threaded within that is like the Is it? Yeah, it's 4 with the fucking ball of the him
Don't
going.
spoil. I haven't read the rest of the book.
Oh fuck! I'm forgetting that you're actually not at all fucking experienced. Did I just spoiled fucking wow.
I mean, I've seen the movie. So like, I've seen up to 4. Rocio and I went to a drive-in in Deltona.
Okay.
And it was like the worst experience we've ever had because you have to have your car on to you basically leave your car on with the battery on to get the frequency that comes through on the radio to get the audio for the movie.
Isn't that all drive-ins?
Yes, but it's also coupled with the fact that there was static like a motherfucker. You couldn't hear the dialogue.
Yeah, I mean that's dumb shit.
So the louder that you turn the dial, the harder the fucking static hit you. It was super hot. And I'm not going to sit there with my car on for 2 hours so I can keep the AC on. I'm just going to destroy my car.
Yeah.
So we kept the windows down. And in Florida, especially in the summer, you don't get complete darkness until after 9 o'clock. And they started the movie at like 8:30. So we're battling the sun. You can't see the movie at all. Even with the sun down, the movie wasn't bright enough to see. And on top of that, I have tinted windows.
Yeah, it's just a rough ass experience for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely sympathize.
I couldn't see or hear the movie half the time. And my beautiful girl was trying to narrate it and trying to explain what was happening.
Paraphrase, basically. Yeah. Just tell you, like...
It wasn't happening.
So basically you haven't seen the 4th movie?
No.
Okay.
Basically.
Well, I said Horcruxes, but you don't know what those are, so I'll stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't spoiled basically because you don't know what those are at all.
I always get the feeling that they did the best job they can, and they really each director they have different directors throughout the series, and they put in the effort they could. But it's really tough for like 500 page books. Like I don't know.
I agree.
That's definitely my overall take. Is that given source material, obviously you can't make a palatable movie including everything from the book. So given the source material, they did a very good job. I can't really realistically participate in the are the movies as good as the books debate, because I would imagine, for the amount of content that the books have been given, that the books are definitely better.
Yeah.
What I will say is that for the source material, the movies hold up as objectively good movies.
I think they're pretty good as movies, yeah. But I think you get the full experience from them.
I think we're arguing like 7 different things here.
Yeah.
Which is a result of the alcohol in our system. I'll just leave it at that and let you respond however the fuck you want.
I agree with what you guys said. I think
it's going to take a lot of editing.
I think the full experience is from the books, and I think a good experience is still from the movies. Like, they're big blockbuster hits for a reason. Did we want to move on to...
I want Trevor to keep talking about what he was talking about. I mean, we can cut a lot of this.
I don't want to move on just yet.
Okay.
We can cut a lot of this, and we can make it. I can trim it to 2 hours. David's hands through his hair, as sexy as possible, about whether or not we will be finishing this podcast on time. But Trevor, please rebut me.
All right. So my overall thoughts on the Harry Potter movies, they're definitely passable. In terms of the book, there's a lot of book to cover, and they do their best with what they have. It kind of annoys me when I hear people talk about how this is like their favorite movie franchise of all time, and I just don't get how that can be the case. I watched Azkaban, and if I hadn't read the book, I wouldn't have known what the fuck was happening at all. The movie is a fucking mess. It's a complete mess. And I wish I was one of those people that just could watch movies and just like be entertained at what's on the screen, but I can't. It's so fucking messy. They completely ruin the Sirius and Lupin confrontation with Snape. It's so rushed. The Wormtail shit is so rushed. You just have no idea what's happening unless you've read the book. And then it's like, that's the biggest. Let me just end it with this. My biggest takeaway from the movies is that I get to go and watch them and be like, oh, this is what happens. Now this is what happens. This is what happens in the book. Oh, this doesn't happen in the books. This is different in the movies. So I get a lot of value out of it. But as standalone movies, I don't like them so far.
That's fair. That's fair. And a lot of people do, and that's fine too. But that's totally fair. I get it.
I will say, what did you say? Fuck me.
Go ahead.
I had it in my head.
My man is plastered.
I'm not plastered, but I'm getting there. I'm in the short-term memory not working stage of getting there.
So normal Cameron.
Yes. I'm damaged. Forgive me. Damn it. I really hope that would get a laugh, because if it didn't get a laugh, that was going to be extra sad.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I'm with you, buddy.
You said something about the movies not holding up for book readers or what have you. This is where Death Note comes back into play. Our Death Note podcast, where we talked about that as a movie, if this was, I said this on the Death Note podcast, if this is the first time you've heard of the concept, does the Death Note movie hold up by itself? And the answer for the Death Note movie is obviously
no.
fucking no. It's very much no.
Yeah.
But as someone who has done minimal reading of the books, I read the books and had the books read to me by my father as like a bedtime story kind of a thing, because my brother was way more into them than I was, and I was kind of a passenger, but I still enjoyed the stories and everything, that kind of thing, whatever.
You were a mudblood.
Jeez.
Haha. Haha.
But
yeah, bro. I'm leaving that in.
Way,
Fuck you. The look Trevor just gave me. So I have a lot of love for the movies as standalones. Like as an original concept, pretending the books don't exist, you can massively enjoy the movies by themselves. Is what I will say. Trevor's shaking his head like a little bit. And now he's smirking his fucking face off.
No, I just don't agree, because I've read them and I can tell you that they don't hold up to the books. But that's my honest opinion.
My honest opinion is read the books. They will almost definitely entertain you more thoroughly and more completely and more extensively than the movies by themselves.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
However, the movies by themselves are a legitimate entertainment experience, and you enjoy them not knowing anything about the books.
Yeah, I think they work on their own, and that's not something you can say for the Death Note movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is the polar opposite of the Death Note movie. I mean, obviously they were working as close to the source material as they could, while still making it a under 2-hour movie, which turned the Death Note. Oh my god, I'm fucking stumbling. Hey, alcohol. Which turned the Deathly Hallows into 2 parts. Is because they felt like they couldn't tell that story in one 2-hour movie, which, thank God. Whether or not it was a cash grab or not, if they tried to tell Deathly Hallows in 1 part, it would have been dog shit. So thank God there's 8 movies and 7 books, but there probably should be 14 movies and 7 books.
Yeah, so, yeah. Overall, we're in agreement the books are better, but the movies are legitimate for anyone who loves them.
The books are absolutely fantastic. If you're listening to this and you have not read them, please, by all means, jump in. It's never too late. These books are fucking classic. They are a worldwide phenomenon for a reason. They will never go out of style. This will never be not something you shouldn't get into. Please, by all means, read them. They are fucking amazing. I have spent my entire day today reading Goblet of Fire, and I will continue to do so until I'm done with the series. It's absolutely wonderful, and it's super heartwarming. It's one of those once in a lifetime series that just doesn't get duplicated every so often. This is like once in 50 years that this happens. So please, by all means, read the books.
There you go. Get the full seal of approval from my guy Trevor, and I respect
Hell yeah,
that for sure. All right. Did we want to move on to WAP now?
Oh, you want to read WAP?
I literally haven't heard it.
I
literally have not
fuck
listened.
Are you doing?
I have not listened a full listen to WAP.
But you've heard Ben Shapiro's version, right?
Oh my god, he
me.
fucking slays that shit, dude.
He slays it, my king. Let's go.
I mean, up the top, the most poignant tweet I saw on this whole thing was that Ben Shapiro being okay with saying whores and not okay with saying the P word.
The pussy, yeah.
Pussy. He says P word every time. He says there's some whores in this house several times, and then he says the P word. Him being okay with saying whores and not being okay with saying pussy tells you roundabout everything you need to know about Ben Shapiro.
Yeah. So this is not going to be a political podcast. We're not talking about Ben Shapiro. He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about our love for this track. This track is fucking hard as shit.
Ben Shapiro doesn't deserve our attention on the Unboxing Life podcast.
Fuck no, I'm not wasting my buzz on some fucking idiot.
That's very true.
I think he's very funny, but that's maybe for another time. Let us say WAP gets our endorsement as a podcast, even though 1/3 of us has not heard it. We like the song. Trevor and I, as hip hop fans, have listened to it.
Can we?
Megan Thee Stallion goes in.
Let's take a break and let him.
I was gonna say, can we take a break and I'll give it a full listen and I'll refill my alcohol and
listen to it right now. I'm gonna listen to it too.
Go ahead, my guy, and we can take a shot after.
Go.
All right.
Yeah. Are you ready? Did you listen to it?
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and Cameron has listened to "Wet Ass Pussy" by Cardi B.
Excuse
Megan
me,
Thee
watch
Stallion.
your freaking profanity. It is called WAP.
By WAP.
I will not have any of this wet ass pussy
WAP.
nonsense on my Christian podcast. Thank you very much.
And let me tell you, we fully endorse this song as a podcast and as a unit and as a crew.
Facts.
And we love this as individuals.
Excuse me,
Facts.
I would like to give in my 2 cents.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What you said is true.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's all I have to say.
We're supporting true feminism through this work that we do. And shout out to all the
not just the men, the women
right.
can express their sexual feelings as well.
And that's what we're going to get into after the shot.
That is so correct. Are we going to take a shot now?
Yep, we're going to take a shot right now.
You
and we're going to
better
talk about some
believe
wet ass
your
pussy.
bitch ass.
Okay, well, all right.
We'll do a drink
Give
tally
me
after
everything
this.
you got for this wet ass shot.
Oh,
That
okay.
rhymed.
Bars?
Bars, baby.
Fucking bars?
3, 2, 1, go.
I took like a third of the shot because I'm weak.
That rum shot is hitting harder and harder as the day goes by.
And while you're recording this, it is nighttime. But
It is almost midnight, actually.
Yeah, we should say that. We started at past 10 p.m. on a Friday.
So once you hear this, it's going to be very edited. So we're going to jump right into it. So this is Cardi B featuring Megan Thee fucking Stallion. Shut the fuck up.
I want to do a drink tally.
Okay. So, all right, we're
how deep we are in before we get into this was
I'm sipping a
as
shot
David
like I'm a
sips his shot.
Yeah. Keep that.
Listen to me, sucker. No other alcohol I've had is harsh still while I'm drunk. Jameson is still harsh while I'm drunk. I feel like a 2-year-old sipping.
Yeah.
Freaking,
So drink tally. So David, tell me how far in you are.
Let's see. I've had 2 Red's Apple Ales. I've had 1 shot. Oh no, I've had just about like 1 1/3 shot of honey Jack Daniels, and now I've had half a shot of Jameson. I'm gonna keep sipping it like a fool. So I don't know. Like my tolerance is so low that it's like 4 or 5 drinks, and I'm like,
you're toasted.
And I'm toasted. I'm in space like Travis Scott in a music video. I'm gone from this earth. Like it's insane. And so we're clapping it up and we're having fun.
That's a
And
vibe.
I'm
All right.
sipping from. And I have. Okay, go ahead, guys. You do your drink tally.
Cameron, how far are you in?
So I had a twee while I was still at Sydney's, and we had a quick dinner. So I had That's the food in my stomach is
Nice.
some nice carbs, some beef lasagna.
Twee for the uneducated listener is twisted tea.
The twisted tea. It's just an alcoholic iced tea.
I saw you said tweet like Twitter. All right, go ahead.
So it's got the same alcohol as a beer.
Yeah, it's about 5%.
And then we're now up to 4 White Claws down the hatch.
Ooh, yeah.
And 3 shots of Johnny Walker Red Label.
Oh shit!
God.
All right.
That I've been sipping throughout. So 8 drinks in, we're 8 in.
Oh my Jesus Christ!
And
Shout out to my boy.
I did measure. I did measure for the purposes of the podcast. So I'm officially 1 twisted tea, 4 black cherry White Claws, and 3 shots worth of Johnny Walker Red Label.
Nice.
Scotch whiskey in.
Now,
So 8 drinks.
My guy is impressive and he has better tolerance, but he's still drinking responsibly, and that's what's important. All right, go ahead, Trevor.
Shout out to my friend Lewis. I used to work with him at UPS, and he fucking loved Johnny Walker. If you're listening to this, I love you, buddy. I miss you. I am currently on my 5th Mike's Hard Strawberry Lemonade. This is my last Mike's Hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've taken 4 shots of rum chata. Rum chata is pretty light. It's like a liqueur, so it's only got 13.75 alcohol per volume, so it's not nearly as hard.
Bro, if you said 3 point, I was about to neck the fuck out of you. I was about to run to Orlando.
13. It's definitely not nearly as hard hitting as the whiskey that y'all are drinking, but I'm a pussy and I like sweet shit, so rum chata.
I mean, you've been hitting it fairly, so.
Yeah, so I'm 8.5 drinks in. So we are lit.
God.
We are lit as fuck, and we're about to talk about some wet ass pussy. That's what we're gonna do.
Now, we've been talking about this song, and we like this. Now, I know that I don't curse, and that's something I stick to, but the way Ben Shapiro did it was so funny. And the difference is I do not disparage a single person for using the full range of the English language. It's just not something I do. So that is totally dope with me, and we like hip hop. And Megan Thee Stallion came in with a double time flow. It reminded me a little bit of Juicy J, although she is her complete own artist, and that needs to be known.
Absolutely.
It was freaking dope.
As
and her,
finish what you were saying, and then let me go.
And I was just gonna say, her and Cardi B killed it, and that was a big crossover from these two. And there does not need to be competition just because they're females in the rap industry. We can have many, many freaking women in the rap industry, and we should. Go ahead, Cameron.
Facts. Let me give you some direction. I wanted to cover the chorus real quick.
Okay.
Before we I wanted to actually do the chorus. So Can y'all give me a beat? Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this wet ass pussy. Okay.
Hey,
all right. So I've heard a couple
criticisms.
I've heard a couple criticisms with Cardi B's verse versus Megan's verse. How Megan kills her on this track, and it's like it's completely unbased. Just because they bring 2 completely different directions to the track. Cardi's got that really slow, articulate verse, and Megan comes in with that super double time flow, like that sexy, amazing, speedy flow that just like you can't catch what she says unless you're listening to unless you're reading the lyrics, and it just brings 2 different sides to the song, and it's so good. That song is so hard.
That is so well
Pun
said.
intended.
Yes, sir. That is well said. I can't believe you're drunk. And they bring their own thing. And it seems like they're really, I don't know what the process was for making this, but like it seems like it's a real collaboration, and they made the best hit record they could.
For sure. They didn't email these verses into each other. I feel like they were in the studio saying, "Hey, we're going to fucking do this, and we're going to do this right. You're going to have the almost triplet flow. I'm going to have this nice articulate flow that you can hear every single word that I'm saying."
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this track is hard.
So my question for David is,
yep,
what is double time flow?
All right. Well, it's basically flow in my sort of view is how you ride the beat. So it's your sort of rhythmic attachment to the beat. Double time flow is basically, it can sound similar a lot of times, but it's like how you sort of just hit two syllables where you would hit one, right? Is that a decent one, Trevor? Like you just
Yeah,
beat it
so
up.
so basically when you listen to the track, Cardi has that really slow articulate flow where you can hear everything that she's saying, and she says it at a slow tempo, and then when Megan comes on, she basically says it in double the speed that Cardi says it.
Right.
That's double time flow.
Yeah.
Double time flow is basically like you're doubling the tempo of the beat that you're currently riding. So you're saying double the words that you would have normally if you had used a slower flow.
Yep.
If that makes any sense.
No,
Yeah.
makes complete sense.
Okay.
It feels self-explanatory to me, but I just wanted it to be said for the sake of the podcast.
Well, there you go.
I agree.
All right.
So, picking back up from there, we're in the middle of you guys giving your thoughts and me through one listen, giving my thoughts on the Wet Ass Pussy track. More commonly known and
Ben Shapiro, how did you feel about it?
I'll say WAP. This wet ass P word, we give it all up for this wet ass P word. Yeah, man, Ben Shapiro's a clown, all in all, is what we have to say. So,
facts.
Moving on from the most cringe reaction to a song to ever exist, we'll actually let you know how I feel about it.
And might I say, he made it worse by posting on Twitter that his wife said the wetness is a medical condition.
Oh my God, you're lying. Okay, so
No,
some of the most immediate reaction to Ben Shapiro like being so triggered about Wet Ass Pussy being a song was him. He in the opposite of what is a good career move, read out the lyrics of WAP and censored himself at interesting places. He was fine with saying whores, but not at all okay with saying pussy.
Right.
So we'll let y'all unbox that for yourselves.
Ooh.
Bars. Ooh. So beyond that, it was like the singular most like guy that doesn't want to touch something icky, like kind of a thing in existence, where like he has absolutely no reason to feel the way he does, but he's just like, it's icky, I don't want to, ew, gross. Yeah. It's like that's how I felt about it. And so that's the far fucking to the one side reaction. And then we had a lot of other more reasonable people having reasonable reactions to the song. So I'll leave that with the group. And
they liked it or didn't like it. And in the age of the internet and Marvel movies being the biggest thing, Ben Shapiro reminded me of what a dork and a nerd was. So
yeah, right.
For that.
Fuck me.
Now, I think we've over this time we summarized our thought on WAP. We like it.
I'm not necessarily sure what's not to like about this track. It's just two badass bitches talking about what the fuck they want from their man.
Yep.
What's not to like?
Yep.
They're super vulgar. They have mastered that flow. So our final words on WAP is that we fucking love it, and I cannot wait for Cardi B's second album.
Indeed.
She is quite the favorite of mine. So we're going to move on to our favorited segment that we were going to do when we were inebriated, being that we were going to tell each other some scary stories that we found on Reddit.
All right. Yes. Let me turn my lights off.
Yeah.
Cameron can react to scary stories, and we're gonna try to keep it. Trevor didn't really do research on his; he just sort of picked them. So we are fully open to the fact that they might be trash, but it's kind of the fun of it. A lot of them can kind of be cheesy, and we kind of like that.
Yep. So David looked at his and was like, I like this. He read through them, and I did the complete opposite. I didn't read them at all. I basically went through the let's look at the Reddit thread and make sure I get this right. It is the super short scary stories Reddit, and I hit top of all time, and I looked through the titles, and I said, let me pick my top 3 that enticed me the most, and I found them, and let's get it. So Cameron's kind of a pussy, and he doesn't want to read them out, so he's going to be our reactor, our nuclear reactor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for content's purposes, I guess we'll go with that as the reason.
Yeah. Cameron's scared, so we're going to scare him out. And he turned his lights out to a blood red.
And he's eating pasta or something like that.
So I have in my room an LED strip, which I can return. I can turn my room any color I want. And currently, we're doing a very moody blood red.
Yeah.
So hit me up with your scariest stories, and I will tremble in my fucking drunken ass boots, boys.
Mine are gonna be trash. So
you want me to
David,
pick it off?
Yeah, David.
We'll see. I have one that I would read at the end, which is less of a horror story and more of a philosophical horror.
Okay. Maybe for the end.
Which I would like to do, but beyond that, go for it, boys.
All right,
hit me up.
David, you go first, baby.
I'll be the singular reactionary vector. So fuck me up, boys.
Short-term internet.
I will not
horror.
sleep tonight.
All right. And my first story is called The Ghost at Home. All right.
The Ghost at
Home. Ooh.
This is sort of relevant to us. Last night, a friend rushed me out of the house to catch the opening act at a local bar's music night. After a few drinks, I realized my phone wasn't in my pocket. I checked the table where we were sitting at the bar, the bathrooms, and after no luck, I used my friend's phone to call mine. After 2 rings, someone answered, gave me a low, raspy giggle, and hung up. They didn't answer again. I eventually gave it up as a lost cause and headed home. I found my phone laying on my nightstand right where I left it.
Oh, God. Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah. Did you get that, Cameron?
So he lost his phone. He started calling it. He got a little giggle, and he goes back home, and his phone is on his nightstand.
Exactly in his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah, that's like the 2-sentence horror shit. That's like the quick shit that fucking bothers the shit out of you. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
My vocab is on 0 right now, but the horror is cranking up.
All right.
So I'm gonna hit y'all with this is called My Family, and by its Reddit user Pansk. It's PANSKSYK. All right.
Okay.
So it's let me get into my voice. Okay. So it's
mommy.
Starts like this. I died 8 years ago. It wasn't particularly tragic or unusual, just a car accident. I don't blame the man who hit me. He was speeding because his wife was in labor and there was black ice on the road. He lost control of the car and I lost my life. It's not his fault. I know that. I'm not cruel. I'm not vengeful. If anything, I'm the opposite. You see, I don't have any family left, and I lost my few friends around that time. When it was time for my funeral, the only people who came was my boss and the family who killed me. The wife held her newborn daughter close to her chest. I hated my boss, and the cemetery was awfully lonely, so I followed the family home. Lily may as well have been my own flesh and blood. She was sweet and bright and oh so very small. She had trouble sleeping if someone wasn't rocking her crib and her parents weren't so tired. After they put her to bed, it was easy for me to rock her crib for her. I didn't get tired. I could help her. As the years passed, Jack and Lori realized that they weren't alone in their house. It didn't take long from there to make a connection between my funeral and when I had shown up. And I had never been malevolent, so they weren't afraid or angry. They started to burn candles on the anniversary of my death day. They left an empty chair for meals and holidays. I really felt like a member of the family. Someone is trying to force the door. It's Lori's ex. He's obsessive. He's angry. He's going to hurt the family. My family. The thing about ghosts is that the more offerings you get, the stronger you become. I'd been enjoying candles, Triscuits, and even the occasional food item for the past years. I was strong from that. The knife feels warm in my hand. A shock of heat against the ice of my skin. Lori, Jack, and Lily are my family. I care about them, and they're not going to join me yet.
So...
That was Tritidash.
And that's the end?
It was like a haunting story from the perspective of the ghost, but she was the good guy.
I kind of like that. That's a wholesome haunting.
It's pretty wholesome, yeah. Wholesome.
It's a wholesome haunting.
I guess.
I like that. Why'd you read that if you hated it?
I didn't know.
He didn't proofread, and that's what the audience has to know. Trevor didn't proofread any of his stories.
So
I don't
you
proofread
just went
anyone.
off. You just went off the title.
Yep. All right, so that the story that I read for the first time is Tritidash. We're gonna jump back to my correspondent David, who's gonna give you his second short story.
Okay, this is one. These are all sort of from Reddit or submitted from Reddit. All right, yeah. So this one's called Roommate Troubles. This person claimed it actually happened to them at the University of Arts in Philadelphia. So they say, my sophomore year, I roomed with a girl named Kara. She was a jazz vocalist, but her main interest was opera. We had a small room on the 6th floor of a dormitory called Juniper Hall. The walls were thin, and her last night's singing and vocal practices would keep me up late. After a month or so of lost sleep, I convinced her to move her late night practices to the music studios in the Miriam Theater Hall a block away. Around 8 o'clock one evening, Kara announced that she would be practicing late for an upcoming recital and probably wouldn't be home until around midnight. Great, I thought. That means I can get to bed early. I was beat. I had a horrible day acting in the studio and was ready to pass out as soon as I had dinner. I think this person was an arts major. She said goodnight and left. Coffee and sheet music in hand. I made some grilled cheese and soup, gobbled it down, and immediately began to prepare for bed. By the time I got out of the shower, my eyelids were so heavy I could hardly brush my teeth. I pulled on my PJs and crawled into the top bunk of our bed. I was out as soon as my head hit the pillow. I should take a second to describe the layout of our apartment. When entering the apartment, my bedroom was through the door immediately to the left. Our bathroom was inside the bedroom, just past the bunk beds. UA Arts is nice in the sense that you don't have to share bathrooms. Anyway, I woke up to the sound of the apartment door closing. I opened my eyes and groggily checked my phone. Midnight on the dot. I rolled back over and closed my eyes. I heard Kara enter the room and stop in front of the bunk bed, checking to see if I'm actually asleep, I thought. She flopped down on the bed below me, which was strange, as she was usually a stickler for brushing her teeth and washing up before bed. Then again, exams were just around the corner, and we were all exhausted. The mattress below me creaked and then was silent. I couldn't even hear her breathing. I started to drift off again. I was just on the edge of deep sleep when I started awake again by a noise. A key in the lock, the door opening, and Kara entering our apartment, humming an opera tune. And that's it.
Ooh. So Kara's not in the bed.
Yeah.
So the whole bit is that it was some other individual or creature that occupied her bed before the real.
Yeah.
Yep.
The interesting detail is that he couldn't hear her breathing or anything, or the thing breathing. I don't know. That one was... I like the twist in that one.
Interesting. I didn't see that being the twist. I was like waiting for the twist, which is usually like, and then the creature below me became something else, but it was like, it was far more subtle than that and more which subtlety can be horrifying, for sure.
Yeah.
I've liked yours so far.
Oh, thanks. I noticed that were I guess I trended towards the more subtle ones, or I noticed a lot of them were subtle anyway, with the short amount of time they had to tell their story. So I thought it was pretty good.
That's quite good. I like the old switcheroo with like someone you don't know is there, and it's not, you can't picture who it is because it doesn't give the description. It could be anyone.
Yeah.
And they're just there occupying space that they shouldn't, and it's really fucking creepy. I like that a lot.
That's great. Yeah, well said. Yeah. All right. Did you have another random one you wanted to just throw out there?
I do have another story. It's called Confession by Pretty underscore creepy. I'm
gonna need you to say that. The author's name?
Go ahead, my guy.
It's Pretty underscore creepy.
At a girl.
And it goes like this. Take me by the tongue and I'll show you got the fools like that.
See,
All right,
mommy?
so it goes like this. You okay, buddy? Yeah. You sure? You're breathing heavy. I'm okay. Good. Relax. It'll go quicker that way. To start, I just need some basic information. Basic? Simple things. Okay. Let's start with an easy one. What's your name? Roy. Roy what? Fromere. Well, Mr. Fromere, how old are you? 16. Go to school? No. Why not? Don't know. Just don't. Do you live alone? No. You live with your mother and your brother Bill, don't you? Yeah. Good, good. You're doing fine. But now I need to ask some harder questions, okay? Can you handle that? Yeah. Good boy. Your brother Bill's in some hot water, isn't he? He's been accused of something bad. Accused? He did something bad to that little girl, Jenny Connor. Oh. To be frank, Mr. Vermeer, I think you might know something about that. That's why you're here today. I think you have a story about Bill and that little girl. Don't be shy. Relax. You aren't in any trouble. Just answer me one question. Did you see Bill take Jenny into the woods? I didn't see them. Really? I saw Jenny. Bill was home. You say you saw Jenny go into the woods, but Bill was at home? Yeah. Mr. Vermeer, I find that a wee bit hard to believe. You know, we found Bill's jacket in those woods. We found his jacket soaked in about a pint of blood. Jenny's blood. We found her too. Funny enough, she was just a few yards away. We took some pictures. Want to see? Pictures? Of the body. Want to see? No, I don't. No, I expect you don't. They're not pretty. But nevertheless, they beg the question. What was Jenny's blood doing on Bill's jacket? And why do a dozen witnesses claim to have seen them together from a football game? Witnesses? Mr. Vermeer, I know you followed them from the field. We have it on CCTV. So I ask you again. Did you see Bill take Jenny into the woods? Did you? I didn't. I think you're lying. Bill was home. We go together from football. Bill said take Jenny home. You took Jenny? It was cold. Bill said take Jenny and take my jacket. I said let's go to the woods. Jenny said no. It made me mad. I pushed her. She hurt her head. What? I hit her in the woods. I was scared. I didn't want trouble. She woke up. She was mad and screaming, so I hit her. I hit her so she shut the fuck up. And the jacket? Jacket? Bill's jacket. I hid it. Where did you hide it? Under my bed. Christ. Not your bed. Think! For once in your life, fucking think. You hid it in the woods. I hid it in the woods. Yeah, don't forget. It's important. Sorry. When they ask for real, you have to remember. I'm sorry for yelling. I hate seeing you made a fool of us all. I know, Bill. That shit was trash! What do you think about it, David?
I think it's interesting. I think it took a little long to get to the twist, but I think the twist is pretty interesting where...
I think it twisted twice.
Yeah, well, yeah, like at first you think it's the brother, and then you think it's him, but at the end you're almost thinking it's an interview and he's confessing to the cops, but you realize he's just talking to his brother or someone, and they're just trying to hide it from the cops. And
Yeah,
like
the
it's like a
very
horror.
the
Yeah, go
very
ahead, get away.
last few lines you said was like he was being coached into a confession.
Yeah, or
I think the whole time he was being coached into a confession.
It was
yeah,
both.
reveals it. It reveals it.
Which
He's
I
being
want to
coached
ask
into-
you to read it a whole nother time, but I won't fucking
No,
drag
no,
it on
yeah.
like that. But yeah, no,
I think it was-
I'd fucking let me get railroaded, but I like that. That was
I'm just way too drunk to
that
really
bothered
wrap
me
my head
to
around it, but
that bothered me to the exact degree that I would hope it to.
I'm
Okay.
glad. I'm glad you liked it. That's the whole
Yeah.
point.
I'm glad you liked it too. I think it was long for me, but still the twist was creative.
Yeah,
I
also
was-
ad-libbed. I ad-libbed because he didn't say shut the fuck up. I added the fuck up part. He's just said shut up. So there's a couple times where like
Oh.
there was a lot of dialogue switching. Like every line was a dialogue switch, so I kind of had to make it a little bit interesting.
Yeah, no, your tonality made that for me. I mean, maybe the shut the fuck like the increase in severity of vocab from shut up to shut the fuck up definitely kind of skewed my opinion there a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you
Um,
liked it.
But I think it still holds the same way. Where
I'm glad.
fault and sort of, for lack of a better word, definition of knowing exactly where fault lies shifted at least twice.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
Mm.
It's not a
Cool.
horror story, but it is interesting.
I'm
I
glad you
can
liked
agree
it.
with
Yeah.
It's not too scary, but it's interesting.
David McLean, hit us with your third story this evening.
McLean.
And now, we only harbor positivity on this podcast, but the last story I have is called "Fairies in the Well" by J. Justin Graham or Graham, Graham.
Cool. Give me
Probably
Alright,
Graham.
let's-
Yeah.
Yeah, Graham.
give me that big ass dick for this wet ass pussy.
Nice. Okay, it's a longer one from what I said, but all right. Take care now, Father would say, and take no heed on the fairies in the well. Father was a simple man. He believed in Jesus, the value of hard work, and in his guaranteed providence. He was not a man of tall tales or given to falsehoods. His word was iron. Yet he believed in fairy folk. He was convinced they infested the hedges and gardens and fields that surrounded our farm. They're bred for mischief, he would grumble. He was most afraid of the fae in the well. Fae short for fairy here.
Yep.
He warned my brother and I at length to stay away. Terrified, they would drag us to their castles underground, coaxing us with milk and honeyed words. Father is crazy. Ben spat through the gap in his teeth the barn door took for his arrogance. Henry says his pa and the men in the town call Father crazy. What? Father ain't crazy. Oh yeah? How'd you get so knowable? He just wants us to be safe is all. He's full of crap. Hush up, he'll get us with a belt. Yeah, 'cause you don't know you don't want us knowing we know. You're crazy, Ben. I ain't. And I know there ain't no such thing as fairies. I bit back tears. I knew Ben was mad Father whipped him for stealing cigarettes, but I hated I couldn't argue his point. We spent hours in the field and saw not a hair nor hide of Faye. Let us take a look at the well. I shuddered. Father said it's dangerous. I'll prove whether he's crazy or ain't. We crept out that night after we'd said our prayers and Father had gone to bed. The moon hung like a god in the sky, lighting the chalky tracks to the old well. Ben and I gripped the weathered slats that covered the mouth, tossed them aside and stared in. It went forever down, the dark hypnotizing. Ben whispered, "Hey, any fairies in there?" No response. He chuckled as I tugged on his shirt. "Come on, let's get back inside." He shooed me off, took a rock and tossed it in. It kicked off the walls before hitting with a splash somewhere below. He called down louder. "Anyone down there?" "I can see you, little boy." Both of us stopped still, stunned. Ben called down again. Who's that there? I can see you, little boy. Please come down. See to us. We darted like leaves, eyes wide. I leaned in. Are y'all fairies? No, boy, come to us, hurry. Who are you? There is no time. Ben fished something out of his pocket. Father's lighter. My eyes popped wide. Ben, what are you... He flicked it on and tossed it down. At the bottom of the well were no less than 10 or 12 women, emaciated. Eyes hollow, hair limp, raw-boned zombies, mud caked to their faces, making them look ghoulish. They begged. Please, before he comes back. Behind us, I heard the sound of boots on chalk. There you go.
Oh, that's it?
Oh, that's a good ending.
Fuck me, dude.
Hey,
You got some good shit right there.
At the same time, Trev said, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Fuck me," but I didn't say it out loud. Oh man.
Shout out to J. Justin Ingram.
No, I mean, that's
J. Justin Graham if you wrote that. Yeah.
That's like close to perfect creepypasta where you leave the ending open to the villain.
Yeah, I like
you know, where the villain is clearly more powerful than, I guess you'd say, the protagonist for literary purposes, but the perspective from which you're experiencing the story is really what it is.
Yeah, I like. Go ahead.
So you were saying,
yeah, I like the idea, or it's a really scary idea of you realizing your parent or your parents aren't like going as far, like people have that experience of really realizing your parents aren't perfect, but realizing that like your dad isn't a good person at all, and like there's something horrible going on. It's such a unsettling idea. I think it hits home for people. Like, it's a good writing tool, I think.
That's some Silence and the Lamb shit.
Yeah, true.
I haven't seen that, so I can't say.
Oh God.
But I will say that's a 2-degree kind of a thing. Where there's the supernatural, so it leans more towards the natural, of where everything happens within reality, and ghosts don't exist, and whatever doesn't exist, and it's all reality, it's all people. And if you're dead, you're dead. If you're not, you're not. And so only alive people can speak. There's that level to that story where you have real alive people being kept as, one would assume, sex slaves in a well. And I think uncle, you said, has therefore told all his relatives, all his younger relatives, not to go near it for fear of being discovered.
Yeah, their father. Yeah, it's
and obviously in that same vein, it could be something more supernatural, so something more eternal, I guess. That he's still taking advantage of. So, regardless of which way you take it, the being a helpless child, discovering an egregious circumstance, and having the ultimate power come up behind you is pretty perfect. I like that story a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice and creepy to the point where I wanted it. I like all of your stories that you read so far have been the villain, quote unquote, comes in at the very end and then is left to your imagination to wonder what happens to the quote unquote protagonist.
Yeah, true.
That's kind of what I like in creepypastas.
Yeah, I noticed
that's
that
what
trend.
I like.
Yeah, a lot of people wrote that. Yeah, as a trend, I guess. And yeah, I like the 1-2 punch of you thinking it might be about the supernatural, and then it's like, no, it's just like a freaking evil man lying to these kids he has about what he's really doing, and it's like, hey, that could technically happen in real life. Like, it's crazy, but
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Absolutely could happen.
Yeah.
Did you have another random one, Trevor, or last just random
one?
I do.
Okay, Trev, if you want to go.
This one is called There Is No Off Switch by Sun Emma. This was posted 4 months ago. And it goes like this. Eneratech has announced its latest revolutionary product, the workday chip. With this product, a person can go a whole workday and not even know it. It automatically initiates a sleep sequence in the user's brain, then controls their muscles so that they can do their job while being completely unconscious. All of a person's energy can now be put into the things that really matter: hobbies, family, and friends. They never have to think about work again, unless they're picking up their paycheck. Soon, this chip becomes a regular part of life. Some companies even start giving it out for free to employees. It was a win-win. The companies got more efficient workers, and the employees no longer had the stress of a job. You could hardly even tell a person was unconscious. The chip recognizes patterns and can converse just like its user would. For a while, this seemed like the perfect system. 3 years after the implementation of the workday chip, the disease broke out. Nicknamed the Red Flame Disease, it caused a terrible combination of coughing up blood and intense burning pain. It spread like wildfire, and soon the majority of the population was affected. Even though most people were in no state to work, the chips forced them to automatically. There was no off switch, and it was able to pick locks or break down doors in order to get its user to work. In the end, it didn't matter if a person had the chip or not. Everyone ended up dead. From the moment you first coughed up blood, you had mere days to live. The disease didn't discriminate between the old and the young. Every single person died, or every single person eventually succumbed. It all happened so quickly that most bodies were never even being able to take care of. They were just left in their homes to rot away. Now roaming in the streets are corpses, doing nothing but going through the motions as if they were ghosts. Dead baristas try to ask customers that don't exist for their order, but some no longer have tongues. Shriveled hands work in factories to produce gadgets for nobody. Businessmen look before crossing the street on their way to work, but no longer have any eyes. They are ghost-like beings stuck in a strange purgatory. They are dead, but not at peace. Watching over these ghosts are the CEOs, the top 1%. They live in elaborate bunkers and clink glasses, laughing about how they will never have to pay another worker again. The workday chip has no off switch, and that's exactly how it was meant to be.
Okay, I sense some social commentary.
I guaranteed have a hotter take than David. So David, you go first.
Okay.
That was okay. Before y'all say anything, that was my favorite of the three.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very straight. It was very straightforward, to the point where my drunk ass could comprehend the story.
Right.
The stories being offered are not at all a commentary on the people offering them. This is just interesting shit at a baseline.
I didn't cherry pick any of them. I just picked, or I kind of cherry picked them based on their name and how attractive it was for me to read it off before I read the actual story. I didn't read the stories before I read them to you. So.
He didn't read them ahead of time. I had vetted mine ahead of time, so that's different. I honestly enjoyed the social commentaries. It felt at a certain point like any freaking Bernie Bros in the chat or something. A lot, definitely like COVID-19, right? Like it sounded like a commentary on coronavirus and essential workers having to go to work, but we have this sort of this virus out there that can turn deadly, and it's kind of a weird system we live under. And I like that this was shared on Reddit or whatever it was, and people can sort of be introduced to this perspective. And it is scary, but in a sort of different way. So yeah, I'm good with it.
I like the twist at the end, how there are CEOs that watch over and just laugh.
Yeah,
it's almost like a new world order kind of Illuminati twist on it, where a lot of people in our day and age are very scared of this underground society that's pulling the strings, so to speak, on our day-to-day lives. And this kind of highlights that. And it's kind of scary to think about, but it's very applicable, especially with the essential workers that you were talking about. This was written 4 months ago, so it was during the heat of the pandemic. of the 2019 coronavirus.
Man.
So it's kind of hot-blooded. Cameron, what do you have to say to shit on this beautiful story, you fucking pussy?
I hate y'all.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it has a good end message. I'm a very big fan of the post-apocalyptic world in which governments become less powerful than corporations.
Mm-hmm.
That is what happens.
It's sort of the trend that's happening currently.
A lot of hypothetical post-apocalyptic, not even apocalyptic, but just future situations, is that corporations become more powerful than governments. The way the story told it was far too jumpy for me. It's far too immediate. It didn't at all take into account the extreme slowness at which the human race operates.
Yeah, I can get with that take. I think it's very on the nose, sort of like I think they mentioned the top 1% or whatever. It's definitely on the nose, and it is what it is. But I don't know. It's jumpy. Yeah, I don't disagree with you on anything, but I think, okay, you got the message out there in sort of a scary story type of way, and I appreciate someone on the internet putting their art out there and making it into a story that people want to read.
And kind of the beauty of this story is that it takes those twists of being a zombie, and it kind of flips it on its head. Whereas, like, one of these comments is like, "Wow, this is a shocking, original, futuristic zombie story," where like the traditional zombie story has been, like, the plot has been thrown to death, and you've heard all of the different stories. Whereas this one's a little more straightforward in terms of our lives. So, anyways, that's my last story of the evening that I've had. I wanted to find that one that Taylor read to me that I was telling you guys about with the whole portraits being people, but I can't find it. So,
well, there you go. That is our drunk podcast, and it was insane.
A little more overwhelming than I figured it was gonna be.
Yeah, our tolerance has not been built up over many months or whatever. We'd sort of been new to this again in a certain way. So if you guys get something out of this, thank you for listening so much, and we'll see you on the next episode where we will cover topics more soberly.
As usual.
I would definitely like us to do more horror stories over this podcast, because that was quite entertaining.
Sure.
But as I'm very inebriated, I would like to send off the beautiful people with one last goodbye. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for all the support that you've given us. The numbers on YouTube speak for itself. For a podcast that just started 5 weeks ago, you guys have shown us so much support, and I completely am utterly overwhelmed by it. I love every one of you that listen to this, and I continue to hope that you guys stay with us. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks cannot go far enough. I will say that in my closing, you can find the podcast at Unboxing Life Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. You can find me at either at CB_LAZ3 or Camblaze, which is spelled CAMBLAIS, on Twitter. And you can find Trevor, since I feel he's too weak to speak for himself at this moment, at Sensible Skyline, spelled exactly how it sounds. And you can find David on... What can they find you on, David?
Well, let's see. I'll just go for Instagram. Instagram is David Williams 458. It's real basic, but you guys can find me there.
So there it is. So thank you very much for listening to this extended and very all over the place edition of the Unboxing Live podcast. And we all hope you have a great week. And we will see you later. So adios.
We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Peace out, baby.
Yeah.